Welcome to the Kick-Ass Fantasy Football Show. I am Matt Brick. Um, it is Week 17, the championship week. If you're playing in your fantasy football championship, congratulations and good luck. We will try our very best to guide you to winning that trophy today. Gentlemen, good morning.
Hey Matt, good morning. A lot of crazy football already been played. A lot of big stuff happening today. I'm looking forward to getting everybody ready to win their championship.
It is championship week, ladies and gentlemen. This is just the best time of the year. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we're here. Guys, it's been an incredible first year. We're going to start this off right and end it with a bang.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, let's start it off with our news and notes. So, a lot of football has already been played this week 17. The Chiefs beat the Steelers 29-10 on Christmas. Yeah, that was Christmas. And the Ravens beat the Texans 31-2. The Seahawks beat the Bears 6-3 on Thursday Night Football. The Chargers beat the Patriots 40-7 yesterday. The Bengals beat the Broncos 30-24 in overtime. And the Rams beat the Cardinals 13-9 last night. I think that was the final score. So yeah, there was a lot of football played. That's for sure. I think those Christmas games were kind of disappointing, especially that Thursday night football game. It is what it is. All right, let's get into players that are out. Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson, Alvin Kamara, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, Chuba Hubbard, Kate Otten, David Njoku, Cedric Tillman, Sterling Shepard, Chris Olave, Derek Carr, Diami Brown, and Nick Folk. The only player doubtful is Tua Tagovailoa, so keep that in mind while you're setting the lineup. Players that are questionable are Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Christian Watson, Xavier Legette, Curtis Samuel, Jalen Tolbert, Tyler Boyd, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Jameis Winston. Players that are expected to play per Adam Schefter are Malik Neighbors and Devontae Adams. So keep that in mind while you're setting your lineups. This is championship week. So let's get it done. All right, let's go right into the Dude I'm Sorry segment. Kamish, why don't you get us started?
All right. Well, guys, last week I told everyone to sit Geno Smith. He ends up putting up 314 yards, three touchdowns, but did have two interceptions. Man, for that dude, I'm sorry. However, my must starts last week, Bijan puts up 94 yards, two touchdowns, plus two catches for 9 yards. And of course, Jamar Gibbs, 109 yards rushing a touchdown, four catches for 45 yards. So hopefully I had bullseyes for you there. They were must starts not only in your playoff fantasy, but in DFS last week. And hopefully that helped you put some money in your pocket.
All right, Jeff, what do you got?
Yeah, so I had a really good week last week. Everything pretty much in the starts and sits was hit the nail on the head. But in my DFS lineup, if you had Keenan Allen in your lineup, I apologize. He did not have a good week. It's kind of been a downer every year. But on the flip side, Jerome Ford, even with a DTR over there at quarterback, he was a great start. On 11 attempts, he had 92 rushing yards and a touchdown. Scored about 24.5 points in PPR. So just an awesome start. How about you, Matt?
All right, let's see. Last week, I told you all to sit Deebo Samuel, who had 7 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. For that dude, I'm sorry. But I did get to say I did say to start Josh Downs last week, who had 3 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. So that maybe helped you in a tough week last week. All right, let's go into our stardom, Sid'em segments. I'll start off with my stardoms. This week I have to start Khalil Shakir. Yeah, I mean, Khalil Shakir has just been. I feel like one of my ballers this year. I mean, he's gotten me to where I'm at in this championship week. They play the Jets. I'm not scared of the Jets. Defense there. I still think that Shakir will be getting a lot of targets. So I'm starting Khalil Shakir for sure. My second start is Deebo Samuel against the Lions on Monday Night Football. I know that Deebo has had some, he clearly had a really tough break there in the past, 5 weeks. Last week he blew up. They clearly got him the ball, 9 targets last week. So I'm more comfortable starting Deebo this week against the Lions, who don't have that great of a defense against the wide receiver. So I'm happy starting Deebo. And my last start of the week is Jaden Reed at the Vikings this week. Vikings do not have a good defense for the wide receiver. I think it's one of the worst. Jaden Reed was the one who got me in the championship. He caught the ball to get me up by 3 points last week. So I'm happy starting Jaden Reed against the Vikings. Yeah, so those are my starts this week. Kamish, what do you got for your starts?
Well, Matt, this week, once again, you're in the championship. You should have a really good team that got you there. So, we have to hit bullseyes here. Jaden Daniels is the top of my list at quarterback. He plays Atlanta. The last 4 games, he's been QB1, QB2, QB7, and QB1. Because of this, Jaden Daniels must be in your lineup this week without question. At running back, I love Bucky Irving against Carolina. Carolina gives up 189 yards rushing per game on the ground. So Bucky Irving, I mean, I know Rashad White's been in the mix, but listen, he's more of a good receiver than he is a running back. Bucky's got all the juice. Hopefully they just let him run today, and I think he balls out for you. Josh Downs for the New York Giants. Flacco is in. He averages 8 targets a game with Flacco at the helm. 15 fantasy points per game average with Flacco as quarterback. So Josh Downs is a really great start this week. What do you got there, Jeff?
Yeah, so I'm hopping on the Henry train. The commission got Bucky Irving. I've got Bucky Irving. Listen, he faced Carolina earlier this season and produced a season high. He had 185 yards and a touchdown against them back in Week 13. Like this defense is not good against the run. In that last game, he had 4 tackles. And had 4 different runs go for at least 10 yards. It was his best showing of the season, and it led him to finish as the RB1 overall. Like, he's gonna have a day, guys. If you got Bucky Irving, whether it's in Dynasty, it's in redraft, he is a must start. He is a running back 1 for this week. I think he's gonna have an incredible game again. Carolina is not good against the run. We saw what James Conner did last week. He would have had an even bigger game. There's no Chuba Hubbard on the other side. He's going to be on the IR with a calf injury. So Carolina's really not going to be able to run the ball either. So I have Bucky as a must start this week as well. For my second one, I'm going with Chigaquanko against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, I know like there's been a lot of games played. Like, we have Kelsey who's already played. We've had McBride who just had a monster game. Finally got that touchdown in the end zone yesterday. But looking at Chig, what he's doing right now, he's facing the worst defense right now against tight ends, and he's had an incredible last couple games. So for me, if you're needy at the tight end position, maybe you think you have a bad matchup somewhere else. I think definitely having Chig in the lineup, who's he's getting the ball thrown to him. It's Calvin Ridley and Chigaquanko who are catching the ball right now in Tennessee.
Get Chiggy with it, Jeff.
Get Chiggy with it, baby. Woo! It's fantasy week, baby. Let's go. Oh, yes, sir. But yeah, so this is the he's averaging 4.8 receptions and 6.4 targets and 50 receiving yards. In half PPR, he's scoring just under 9 fantasy points. He's a great start, guys. I love his matchup today against Jacksonville. I think he's going to have a great game again. And then this one's a little bit dirtier, but I'm going Alexander Madison. They're going up against the Saints today. The Raiders, Saints defense is just it is not a defense. You can't call it a defense. If you're playing that Saints defense in fantasy, I'm sorry for you. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, Alexander Madison, he's got the ball. He's going to be sharing the backfield with Abdullah. But Madison has, after last week, he's getting the bulk of the work. It's an ugly play. Like, obviously, I wouldn't feel comfortable starting Madison. But if you're definitely in need, I mean, obviously, if you could put him in the flex spot, I would go for it. But those are my 3 starts of the week, and yeah, that's what I got. How about you, Matt?
All right, let's get into the sits of the week. I'll start off our sits. Where are my sits? Okay, here we go. I have Sam Laporta against the Niners on Monday Night Football. They're pretty good against the tight end. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that matchup for Sam Laporta. I'm actually starting Josh Downs over Sam Laporta as of right now. I think that's the right move due to Joe Flacco being in there. Because I did have Laporta in at first, but then last night I saw that everyone was saying go Josh Downs at the flex spot. So I'm going Josh Downs over Sam Laporta. That's why I'm sitting Laporta. I also have Elijah Moore on the bench against the Dolphins. Listen, DTR is just not going to get it done for you today. For the Browns, it's all part of the tanking NFL initiative. So Elijah Moore should be on your bench today. The Browns are going to try to lose against the Dolphins probably for higher and better draft picks. Bench Elijah Moore. And last but not least, I'm benching Amir Abdullah against the Saints. I actually like Amir Abdullah's matchup there on Sunday today, but I do think that there are better guys out there. Like there's better guys to start on my team, so I'm benching Amir Abdullah against the Saints. All right, Kamish, who do you have to sit this week?
Well, Matt, my sits of the week start out with Aaron Rodgers. Goes up against the Bills. Only finished in the top 10 scoring just twice this season. So here I am in the championship week. I am not starting Aaron Rodgers. And as you said at the top of the show, Devonta Adams is questionable, correct? So that's another reason why you don't want to play Aaron Rodgers today.
Adams is expected to play.
Oh, he is expected to play. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, with him only being in the top 10 in scoring this season, I don't trust Aaron Rodgers to get me to the promised land. At tight end, Turd Ferguson, no touchdowns all season. He goes up against the Eagles, who only give up 36.5 yards per game to the tight end position. So Turd Ferguson is a big sit for me today. And finally, Jerry Jeudy versus the Dolphins. DTR, need I say more? He stinks. Okay. So no Jerry Jeudy. I know he had his day in the sun a few weeks ago, but today in the championship, I cannot trust that fellow. So make sure you have someone else in your lineup for sure to get you to the big win today. That's all I got.
All right, Jeff, what do you got?
Yeah. So for me, my first sit of the week is Amari Cooper. Sauce Gardner looks like he's likely to be out, and Cooper definitely has the upside after seeing the most air yards in any game this season 3 weeks ago. But saying that, he's also totaled just 2 targets and 10 yards over 2 games since then. there's a potential for very heavy rain in this Jets Bills game. So just keep that in mind if you are looking to start any of these guys, and you have to start some of these guys. It's supposed to be a very cruddy game, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, moreover, the Jets have ceded the second most fantasy points to the slot, but the fewest to the perimeter, where Cooper has run almost 80% of his routes. So again, if you're looking to start Amari Cooper and you're in the championship week, I would definitely look to pivot off him. I'm not comfortable starting him whatsoever. I'm also, it's unfortunate, but I'm going to be sitting Rico Dowdle. CeeDee Lamb was shut down. With CeeDee Lamb being out, Dowdle, he could have been an automatic start. And he's been great. And I know the people who have him, like they picked him up for dirt cheap. But he's going up against a defense here in Philadelphia who they allow the 7th fewest rushing yards per game and the 2nd fewest rushing touchdowns this season. There's going to be no Jalen Hurts on the other side. It's going to be a Kenny Pickett game. But I think just with Barkley, going for the record, I think it's going to be a heavy dose of Saquon today. I don't think Dallas is going to have many opportunities to run the ball, let alone get the offense up and running. So Rico Dowdle is another sit for me. And then my third, I'm going with Jerry Jeudy. Kamish, he tapped on it before. DTR is when he's at quarterback, Jeudy is just an automatic sit for me. I don't want any part of this Browns offense. It's horrible. And DTR, the only thing he's been known for coming out of college was basically his running. But he also has an injury to his leg. I believe it's his calf. So that's something to monitor too. So I just, on the off chance, maybe DTR gets knocked out of this game early and Jerry Jeudy gets Jameis Winston back in there to go crazy. But right now, just looking at the matchup, I can't have Jerry Jeudy in there. And that's what I got for this week, gents.
All right, before we end the stardom segments, I do have a question for you guys. I unfortunately lost to Anthony Richardson in my championship week. I had to pick up a quarterback. I've been between Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco, but after hearing and understanding the rain, Jeff, I feel like now I have to lean more Flacco.
Yeah, listen, Flacco is he's going up against the Giants defense, which has not been great this year. It's painful from I am a Giants fan, so it's tough to sit here and have to talk about how terrible my team is, but it is what it is. They're just not having a great year. There's no Dexter Lawrence there, so I definitely think Flacco, especially with the rain and everything that's going to be going on in this Jets game. I would be okay going with Flacco, but at the same note, the game is in New York. That New York and Colts game, and there's a chance of rain in that as well. So honestly, the Buffalo weather, it's going to be terrible. I already know that just looking at the weather reports. There's a chance of rain at MetLife Stadium as well. So no matter how you really slice it, you're going to probably have to look at 2 terrible weather games, which is terrible to have to deal with that for your fantasy championship, Matt. But if I was going just based off the matchup, the Buffalo Bills defense, they do not give up a lot of passing. Obviously they've had games here and there, where they, the Rams game a couple just a weeks ago where they got lit up. But yeah, I would lean towards Flacco. I also have Flacco. I'm starting him in my DFS lineup this week, just because I think he's a cheap buy, and I think he'll get the job done. I don't think he's going to score 40 some points, but if you could survive with 20 to 25 points respectively, I think he can definitely put that up today.
All right. Good to know. All right, let's get into the DFS lineup of the week. I'll start it off. I have Jordan Love at 6,200 against the Vikings. I like the value, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be a high scoring game. I think that the Vikings defense. I actually do like the Vikings defense, but it was a high scoring game the last time they played. I do think the Packers find a way to win today, but. Yeah, I like Jordan Love there. So my running backs are Bucky Irving. I have at 6,700 against the Panthers. The Panthers are the worst against the run. So I love Bucky Irving today. He's a smash hit. Go with Bucky Irving. My second running back is Aaron Jones at 6,200 against the Packers. I think Aaron Jones is just a great value, so I'm happy with going with Aaron Jones there. My wide receivers, I have Brian Thomas Jr. at 6,800 against the Titans. I think Brian Thomas Jr. could have a great day today. As much as the Jags probably want to lose, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. For Brian Thomas Jr. I have Jacoby Myers at 6,000 against the Saints. I love me some Jacoby Myers no matter what. I know he had a bad week last week, but I like him against the Saints. I also have Calvin Ridley at 5,500 against the Jags. I think that's just a great value. So there's that. My tight end is Jake Ferguson against the Eagles today at 3,700. I just feel like that's just decent value. I feel like with no CeeDee Lamb, they're going to have to – I mean, if obviously Dowdle's going to be ran a lot, but I don't knowing how terrible Brandon Cooks is, I feel like Jake Ferguson could get some targets today. My flex is Jaden Reed at 5,900. I have the stack there with Love. I love me some Jaden Reed in this game, so have him at my flex, and then my defense is the Saints defense against the Raiders at 2,900. So yeah, that's my lineup this week. Jeff, why don't you give us your lineup this week?
Yeah, and just to reiterate, I love the Jordan Love pick because this game is in a dome, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the few games of the week. It's a divisional game. There's a lot on the line. Like the Vikings right now, they're trying to get that first round bye. So I love the Jordan Love Jaden Reed stack this week. I think it's going to be an incredible matchup. I hope it's not a defensive struggle. This game is in a dome. It's not going to be affected by weather. So I love that pick, Matt, for the stack there. On my end here, I said it before, I'm going with Joe Flacco, 4,900. I think, it's light rain. They're going to have wind 3 miles an hour of wind, not too crazy. I think just because of, the Giants defense, and the Giants season as a whole, I don't think they're going to show up today. I think Flacco's going to have himself a decent day. So I got Flacco again at 4,900. Saquon Barkley, 8,600. I know it's a chalk play, but I think he's going to have himself a day today. I think he's going to get the ball a lot. I don't think they're going to have the ball in Kenny Pickett's hands. So if you're playing AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, good luck. But I think Saquon has a great day today. Bucky Irving, 6,700. I honestly think he has the chance to be running back one this week, guys. I really do. I think it's a great value. The last time, I stated it before, he's the start of the week. He had an incredible game against the Panthers last time. The Panthers defense has not gotten any better. So he's a smash start for me. Brian Thomas Jr., 6,800. I think he's going to have a wonderful day. As mediocre as Mac Jones is, he knows Brian Thomas Jr. is his guy. I mean, he's the only guy he's got left. Everyone else is injured. So he's going to hyper target him all day today. Khalil Shakir, 5,600. I know, the game's supposed to be rainy, wet, and have up to 10 miles an hour winds. But again, the Jets, they give up a lot in the slot, and that's where Shakir works. Jalen McMillan, 4,600. I'm looking for I'm looking for points for this Bucks team. I think Jalen McMillan, he's starting to finally catch on. It took the rookie a while, even with Godwin out. Like there was a time where he wasn't doing much, but for $4,600, it's just a value for me, so I'll go with him. At tight end, I'm going with Turd Ferguson as well, 3,700. Just a value pick. No CD Lamb. Cooks is old and washed, and if Dallas is gonna look to do anything in this game, I think it's through the air with Ferg. And my flex, I got Aaron Jones, 6,200. Green Bay again, just a defense that you can run on them. So I think Aaron Jones is going to have himself a good game, both on the ground and through the air. I definitely think Aaron Jones has helped unlock Sam Darnold. And Darnold's I have him in our dynasty league, and I have him in another league where I've literally been starting him over other players that you would consider like a top 10 quarterback. He's just had a great year. I'm also going with the Saints defense for 2,900. I think they have a decent day as well. What about you, Henry?
Well, I want to make sure everyone gets their paper and pens out. I want to give everyone a smash DFS lineup to go with today. I'm going to start at the quarterback position. I'm all over the Bucks today, guys. You'll see that in my lineup. I got Baker Mayfield going up against Carolina, 6,900. Must win for the Bucks. Mayfield is going to feed Michael Evans, so love Baker Mayfield today for 6,900. Saquon Barkley, we all talked about it. He's going after the record. He's at home. They're going to be wearing the Kelly Green jerseys against Dallas, their arch nemesis. At 8,600, you got to pay up for him. He's going for the gusto today. Bucky Irving, you both have been all over him today. He's a monster start against Carolina, 6,700. You just feed this guy the ball and he produces. At wide receiver, I got Mike Evans. He's going for his incentives, and Mayfield's going to feed him the ball. That's 7,500. Excellent start against Carolina. I got Romeo Dobbs against Minnesota. That secondary Minnesota will be shredded today, as you said today, Jeff. They're in a dome. Love's in a great spot here at 5,100. Dobbs, I think, is going to find the end zone and outperform his price tag on DraftKings. And then finally, I got Josh Downs. I'm loving Flacco back at quarterback. Giants are, I'm sure, under the directive not to win, so they get draft picks. Josh Downs performs with Joe Flacco at the helm, 4,800. That's an easy play. Jeff, you were all over this earlier. Get Chiggy with it. Chigo Quanko goes up against Jacksonville Jaguars at 3,600. I mean, that's just a great play at the tight end position. Easy play on DraftKings. At the flex, I'm going Luke McCaffrey. He's been getting a lot more involved in the offense as of late. He is at home against Atlanta. He's only 3,100. This, I think, is a sneaky play at the flex position today, especially allowing me to pay up for guys like Barkley and Evans. McCaffrey, I think, is a good play, 3,100. And finally, staying with the Bucks defense against Carolina. Like you said, no Chuba Hubbard, 3,400 for the Bucks D. I think gets it done all day today. So that's it, guys. I think put together a pretty good lineup there. Listen, while we're talking about this final week in the season, I just wanted to bring up, Matt and I have been discussing all week, Jeff, that look how many teams are under 500 in the NFL. Okay, look how many players are not playing today. It's week 17. It's not week 18. The last week of the season, it's week 17. I think this makes for a really difficult play if you are in the championship today, because a lot of those guys that are not playing, I'm sure, helped you get to where you got to today. To me, we've already discussed it in our auction league. I know that changes need to be made next year. Obviously, we got to look at how the NFL comes out with their scheduling next year because their bye Mageddon weeks were just terrible this year for fantasy. But I mean, I'm looking to chop a week off the season in fantasy next year, make the championship in week 16 next year instead of week 17, if scheduling allows that to happen. I mean, we got to take a look at that, but my antenna is way up for next season because of this poor play of NFL with so many teams just playing horrible and not wanting to play because they want draft picks. And then there's teams that are resting guys because they've already clinched, of course, and of course injury and stuff. What do you guys think about all that?
Yeah, I mean, for definitely for the auction league, this is kind of a personal thing just for our league, but we got to look at the buys and see how the NFL is going to set it up. Obviously, I'd be okay as long as we didn't have. I think it was 8 teams on buy for week 14. This past season, it's just insane. But yeah, it's I think a big thing about it too, and some people might not agree, but I think a big thing is the preseason. We started the NFL season and it was low scoring. It was terrible. It was, and honestly, like a lot of these guys, again, there was holdouts. You had Jamar Chase, you had CeeDee Lamb holding out, Dak Prescott holding, all these contracts. There's no contracts here, and then finally people were getting signed. So we had a lot of holdouts this year to start the year, which I don't think helped too. But the preseason, a lot of these guys, when they get the reps in and they get going, when the season starts, like they're good, they're fresh, they got the reps in, they did what they had to do. A lot of these people who are holding out, and a lot of these people who just aren't playing because the preseason shortened, I definitely think that attributes to a lot of things. I think it attributes to injuries. I think there's so many scenarios where you can say, oh, well, these guys are going to play, a full start and they don't have the reps in. So what do you expect? Just like they used to say in gym class, like, listen, you got to warm up, you got to stretch. These guys are professional athletes who are going out there to get hit all game and, take these bumps, and, that attributes to, not being healthy when the season actually starts, like not being game ready is what they say. But yeah, so the injuries and stuff. I mean, listen, I'm in the champion. I have one league where I'm still in the championship. I had CeeDee Lamb. He's still, despite Dak being out for half the season, he's still been, a good piece for me. He's been helpful. He's won me weeks, but having to pivot off of him and losing him. But I understand it that the Cowboys are not playing for anything. All these teams that are they're hurt. They have players that are like, look at James Conner. Like again, James Conner. The Cardinals were playing for nothing.
He killed me last night, Jeff. He killed me.
And I know he did because he killed me too. But listen, that's always been fantasy football. Fantasy, it's we do all this research, we do everything to try to make sure we pick the right players and we get the best matchups, but like injuries happen. He was going into this game not 100%. I put him. He was he's been a solid running back for me in multiple leagues now. And, there's a chance he might cost me the championship this week. It is what it is. That's fantasy football. But, yeah, so there's just it's unfortunate because the NFL, they keep coming out with these rules. And one of the ones that I hate is this illegal formation stuff that they keep calling on all these. There's been so many plays this year where, you have Nico Collins, who's coming back from an injury, and on his first play of the game, he's got a screen pass and breaks it for 50, 60 yards, and it's called back because of a man downfield who's literally 2 yards down the field where he's not supposed to be, and all those things. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. I hope that the league looks into plays like that, because there's a lot of points that have been taken off the board because of these silly little plays here and there. But yeah, with the injuries, it's been a terrible year. There's so many teams right now who have 3 wins. It's insane.
It's crazy, Jeff. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, you talk about that man downfield call. There's been more of that called in the last few years than I've ever seen in all my life. Watching the NFL, It's insanity.
It's
And these plays, these penalties called away from the play that had nothing to do with it. It's also
exactly.
very frustrating. Yeah. But
Yeah.
man, but some of these teams that have 2 and 3 wins, like it's a joke. It's like as I've been saying, it's too watered down. You know what I mean? And I hate that the fact that they want to add more games to the NFL, more European games. It's terrible. It's
And I
just
think
terrible.
that attributes a lot to this too. I mean, I can't count on my hand right now how many games have already been played this week. Like I know Christmas had games. There was games yesterday on Saturday, and it's like, what are we doing, man? Like, especially, and I understand, like, fantasy is not something that the NFL really is taking into consideration when they're moving all these games to Germany and God knows where else. But a lot of this too, like that wears on players too. I mean, how many times do you go on vacation, you travel, and that first day you're like, man, I don't feel well, or I want to take a nap at at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because it's just my sleep schedule is messed up. It's the same for these guys too. These guys are they're superhuman, but they're humans. So I think a lot of this travel and stuff too. I don't like it. I don't think it's good for the players. But at the end of the day, the NFL is a business and they're here to make money. And if they can expand their business and make money, they're going to continue to do it. I mean, that's why they're looking to, again, we're on an 18 game season now. Like, it was only so many years ago where I remember it was a 14 game season, like it's crazy to think how the
Yeah,
NFL has, it's
yeah,
constantly changing, and it's interesting and frustrating at the same time. But yeah, it's just it's something we just have to continue to adapt to. I mean, and that's we're playing fantasy at the end of the day. The schedule, the playoff schedule. If everything works out in our favor, definitely look to shift your league if that's better for for what your league wants, and especially if what your league wants. Like that's a big thing too. Like if you
right,
got half the league who's saying, "Oh, just keep it as is," okay, but that's another conversation. But if you have
right,
a lot of the
right.
league who's saying, "Listen, like we got to change something," and it's the
Yeah,
majority decision, you change it. You know?
yeah, yeah. It just uh it just sucks because I mean I think I'm in 5 championships and I've struggled in some of my leagues like because there's a lot of these like Jalen Hurts is one of them. He
Yeah,
brought me to where I am, man, and he ain't even playing today. I mean, luckily I don't know how I won last week with him going out with the concussion, but it's just terrible, man. It's just so watered down. Anyway, I just wanted to, I think it's a great point to bring up because right now fantasy is fresh in everyone's mind, so that when you're creating your leagues for next season, just be aware of what the NFL schedule is, and adjust accordingly. To make your fantasy league the most competitive, most fun, and hopefully you with this whole watered downness, and that's what I'm calling it. It's just an NFL watered down that you could adjust release to make it right and good for everybody. So when you get to your championship, you actually can play the guys that you have that got you there. Just crazy. There's leagues looking at quarterbacks like Joe Flacco, like we're talking about today to start today. Aiden O'Connell. I mean, this is just a joke. It's a tough joke.
yeah. It's an incredibly interesting year. I'll put it at that because I've been 6 leagues. Um, Only one of the leagues right now do I play with any type of defense kickers, and I've had games where my kicker scores me 20 points, and then he comes around and he somehow scores me 2 the next week, and then I have quarterbacks where I'm literally rotating every other week. It's been a crazy with injuries and all that stuff. It's been definitely a wild ride. I'll put it that way. Lots of ups and downs, but again, that's the ebbs and flows of fantasy. That's why you have to stay water. You have to pivot when you need to pivot, and try not to get stuck in your ways.
I'm now considering Bryce Young that quarterback today
Oh my God, that's so
because
sad.
Listen.
Plays
Sometimes
the
you
Bucks.
have. Yeah. Listen, the Bucks defense. I mean, the Bucks defense made Kirk Cousins look incredible, and look where Kirk is now. So I mean, listen, he's definitely been playing a lot better since his benching. So again, especially when no Chuba Hubbard. So I don't think they're going to be running the ball. I think that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of great options out there. And I just saw that Bryce Young is higher than Aaron Rodgers. Oh man,
It's a
I don't
sickening
know.
thought, Matt, when you're going into
Yeah,
championship
I
week and
mean
you're
Mac
thinking of
Jones, I don't like him. Aiden O'Connell, I don't believe in him. Michael Penix, can't trust him enough. Spencer Rattler, I think I'm whatever. I mean, whoever gets me some fantasy points, I'll be happy with.
that's exactly. At the end of the day, you just want someone to just get you a nice floor.
anything at this point. All right. Any parting words for fantasy managers? This is it. This is the last show of the season, last championship week here, fellas.
Yeah, I do have some. Listen, if you were playing with defenses, with kickers, things like that, hopefully you guys stashed the defenses we were talking about in the earlier weeks. Hopefully you were stashing the backup running backs. If you needed that help. Just to touch base right now, for these, if you're playing with defenses, I think the Colts defense is a number one start this week. I think against this Giants offense that just hasn't looked good at all. I think the Dolphins defense is another strong start. And then again, just bad teams. If you're looking at the Raiders, playing against the Saints, I don't think the Saints are going to do much either. So just to give you some ideas there, hopefully you have that. And then Chig Okonkwo, he's been great. I've been lucky enough to have him in one league. I'm not in the championship, but he was a serviceable start for me and my team that was had injuries. So just listen, guys. This is the last week. Put all your cards on the table. Hopefully you make the right decisions, and good luck to you guys still in the chip.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. Chiggy is a good pickup this week if you need him. Dolphins defense, I really like. Jalen McMillan has been balling lately. So if you need him, if he's out there, he's definitely a good plug and play for the championship week this week. I'm all over the Bucks game this week. I think it's gonna be a great fantasy game for all the fantasy managers. Look, you got to go with your gut on a lot of these things. You have the players that got you there. If they are playing, you definitely play them. That's the best advice I give you from playing. I mean, gosh, I've been playing for 30 years now, fantasy football, which is crazy. I played pre-internet when we used to have to take out the USA Today and look up the box scores and do the scoring by hand. So the same is to be said back then it is today. Go with guys that got you there. Is of course this week as long as they are playing. But good luck to everybody. It's been an amazing fantasy season to do the show with you two fellas. Next year, I know we'll be back on getting everybody ready for their drafts and getting ready for an amazing fantasy season. So, um, kick butt today, guys. Good luck.
Bryce Young is available in 12.3% of ESPN leagues. So if you need a quarterback, go pick up Bryce Young. I think that's who I'm going to go with today. My fellow hosts can say, go with your guys today, go with your gut, and let's win a championship. Let's do it. Thank you all so much for listening and being a part of this journey with us this fantasy season. It was a lot of fun. I thank you both for joining me every Sunday. So let's get it done and finish the fantasy football season. All right, that'll do it. Thank you so much. Have a great day.